Chris with Remax Heritage Professionals, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about mistakes to avoid during a cooling market. And while the market by no means is actually crashing, and nor do I see any signs of a crash coming, at least in our local area. There may be places in the country where there is a housing market crash because people are leaving, and so there is an influx of inventory. But in Florida, and certainly in Polk County, Central Florida, we're one of the locations where everyone is moving to, so we still don't have enough inventory to meet the demand. And so until that changes, there really isn't going to be a crash in our area. That being said, we are coming off the pandemic where the market was crazy, and if you were a home buyer, you had to see a home and put an offer on it right away within hours of going on the market. And we're not in that kind of a market anymore. So it is slowing. It's a cooling market. Prices aren't jumping up 30% year over year anymore. It's a more modest gain year over year, but it is still a gain. So I wanted to talk a little bit about mistakes to avoid during this type of a market, because we got so used to the market before, and it's different now. And so first I want to talk about some mistakes for buyers. Despite the fact that the market is slowing, it doesn't mean that you can get away with making lowball offers. So mistake number one for buyers is making lowball offers. It is still a seller's market, and so while you might not have to go in over asking, if you think that a house that just goes on the market and you're going to get it for $20,000 below asking price the day or two after it goes on the market, or even a week or two after it goes on the market, you're just wrong, and you're going to miss out on that home. Because as I said before, there is still demand, and there's not enough inventory to meet that demand. So the good homes are still going to meet pretty good demand, and they're still going to get pretty close to asking price. I think last month in the Polk County market, sellers received about 96.5% of list price. And so you still need to come in pretty close to list price. Mistake number two is not getting pre-approved for a mortgage. And while it was certainly absolutely required, sellers weren't even looking at offers without a buyer being pre-approved. In fact, they were, in some cases, not even letting you in to see the home if you weren't pre-approved. It is still necessary in this market to be pre-approved in order to make a viable offer. Sellers are just not going to consider, they're educated, and their agents are educated, and they're just not going to consider an offer from someone that's not already pre-approved. There's too many times where buyers have lied about their income, lied about their assets, lied about their credit score. It's not been verified by a lender, and down the line that causes a problem, and it ends up really hurting the seller. So you have to be pre-approved for a mortgage if you want to put in an offer. The third mistake that buyers are making is they're failing to consider the long-term value of the property. You might be excited that you're not having to pay, $30,000 over asking price anymore. But what really is important, and really this is true of any type of housing market, is to focus on the big picture. Focus on the long term, not the short term. And so, in this case, you might be able to get a property for a lower price. What's really important is to look at the long-term value of the property. Is it in a good neighborhood, good school zone? What's the potential for appreciation in the future? Those are all things that you should be considering when you're looking to purchase a property, not just what is the price currently. Because there may be a time, you may not consider that you're going to sell it anytime soon, but things happen in life, things change, and you might have to sell it in 3 to 5 years. What's the value going to look like in 3 to 5 years? That should certainly be a consideration, and a lot of buyers are not considering that. The next one is waiving the home inspection. That was something that was very popular, done so often in that crazy market we were in during the pandemic, and I would never recommend it. I didn't recommend it during that period of time, and so I certainly don't recommend it now. So it's a mistake if you are waiving the home inspection. Even if you're not going to ask for repairs, it's good for you as a home buyer, home purchaser, future homeowner to know what you're up against, to know what things are coming up that you're likely going to have to replace, so that you can start saving for it and not be surprised by it. So really important to still do the home inspection, whether you intend to ask for any repairs or not. The next mistake that buyers are making is they're locking in a sky-high mortgage rate. It can be pretty easy to panic in the market with the mortgage rates going up and down and up and down to try to panic. Use the expertise of your real estate agent, but more importantly, your lender. This is why it's so important to have a local lender that you trust, that you can talk to on a weekend, after hours, in the evenings, so that you can discuss strategically when's the right time to lock in that rate. Certainly you don't want to be sitting there thinking you could have been able to lock in at 6 and end up paying 7. At the same time, you don't want to lock in at 6.5 when maybe you could have gotten 6. So it's real important to turn to the experts on your team, your realtor, and more importantly in this case, your loan officer, as to when's the right time to go ahead and lock in that mortgage rate. So those are the mistakes that buyers are making. Sellers are also making mistakes in this type of market. Some of them are settling for less. They're getting impatient. They got used to the idea or seeing their neighbors sell their home in one day for over asking $30,000, and so when it doesn't happen for them in this market, they start to panic and they accept the first offer that comes in, and they may have been, with a little more patience, be able to get a bit more for their home. So it's important to be patient, understand the market, understand and listen to the guidance of the expert you hire, the realtor, as to when's the right time to lower the price or take a lower offer compared to what you were hoping to get in terms of your asking price. Another mistake, and I still see this happening a lot, is overpricing the property. There are still some sellers that think we're in the market of 2 years ago, and they think they can get what they can name their price for their property, and so they're overpricing the property, and those properties are sitting sometimes for a very, very long time. Because most buyers can't afford them anymore. Not, on top of the high price that you've listed your home for, you've also got mortgage rates that are much higher, so people's buying power is less. And so your home is going to sit on the market if you overprice it. You need to be within the acceptable range of what other homes in your area have sold for, not way above. Unless you can really articulate why your home is so much better than those others. Another mistake that I see sellers making, and this is another big one, and again, big difference from the market of 2 years ago and now, is that sellers are skimping on repairs and upgrades. It used to be that you could name your price and you could say, hey, I'm not doing any repairs, you take the home as it is. And buyers, because there was so little inventory and such a frenzy, people wanted to get into that house at 3% or 2.5% mortgage rate, that you could get away with that. But now buyers are more savvy. They are expecting a house that is move-in ready. They are not willing to accept a home that is not up to their standards. And so it's important for you as a seller, if you want to maximize how much money you get out of the home, it's really, really important that you price it right and that it's in a very good condition. You've done some smart upgrades to the home. Anyway, I hope you found these tips and tricks and mistakes that people are making in our cooling market helpful. If there are other items about our housing market that you'd like to discuss, I'd be happy to discuss them with you. Please give me a call, 863-280-2201. Send me a message, 863-280-2201. Send me a message, and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.